the incoming government to be, if it ever gets off the ground in Israel, is being described by all the press and by all the pundits and by all its opponents as far right. You know, this word far right that's used basically now is applied to anybody that still has the audacity and the gumption to state that they believe in anything like family values, that there's a God in the world, that there is a purpose to life. That's all called far right. The fact that people has a divinely ordained right to live in their land, all those things are considered to be far right. All of those expressions of basic truths are far right. Imagine if the Hashmonaim would have bowed to this tremendous social pressure that they were up against then, because there was tremendous pressure within the ranks of the Jewish people that were Hellenized, that were buying all of the merchandise that the Greeks were trying to put over on them, as far as the worship of the physical and the denial of God. Imagine if they would have been branded far right and they would have given up their struggle, because they would have said, "This is, we can't stand up against the onslaught that's being directed against us in the press and in the whatever the social media was at that time." And I just want to say this one thing about that. There's a very famous statement that our sages make, that the Greeks forced the Jews to write on the horn of an ox, "We have no portion in the God of Israel." It was a type of like post, a type of tweet or Instagram, whatever you call it. Why the teaching is based on this concept of the horn of an ox is a very, very deep idea. What that represents exactly, why they chose that as the app, as it were, that they said, write on the horn of an ox and show it to everyone. We have no portion in the God of Israel. It was this very devious kind of psychological warfare, psychological manipulation, trying to alienate them from their own heritage. Make a long story short, it was a war against spiritual hope. That is exactly what the battle of the Hashmonai priests against the Greek invaders was all about. It was about spiritual hope. And honestly, there are so many people today, and this is where I want to address all of those righteous Noahides that want to embrace the Torah of Israel. It's the same battle today. The forces of darkness, the powers that be, are trying to take away hope from this world. It's very, very dystopian, very Nietzschean, very, very apocalyptic.
Humanistic.
Yeah,
it's humanistic too. Yeah, in the idea, humanistic being the idea that we are our only hope. We have no other hope for our salvation other than our own human wisdom, our own human strength. There's nothing else to help us. And what is so remarkable is there are two things going on right now that are so much of the theme, and it's a repeat of the Hanukkah, the state of Israel during the time of the Hanukkah miracle. And that is this idea of Greek oppression. And here you have the New York Times this week publishing an editorial warning against the incoming far-right Israeli government by Benjamin Netanyahu, saying it constituted a significant threat to the future of Israel. And you know why they're screaming these things?
The threat is that there might actually be an Israel.
There might be an Israel that actually celebrates their own roots in Torah. Because part of this is the idea that they're ultra religious, and they're talking about the Netanyahu cabinet includes far right parties that are calling for, among other things, the expanding and legalizing of settlements, and also changing the status quo of the Temple Mount, where your temple stood, and an action that risks provoking a new round of Israeli and Arab violence. Well, by the way, if you know about the Israeli-Arab violence, it doesn't take much to get that faction going.